Uh-huh. Okay. All right. So, Larry, we are up. We are live. Send me the link.
Okay. I hope you are good to go. Um, Hello, good evening to you all, friends from the media. I think today we are starting on time. um, for your information, once again, you are welcome to the headquarters of the New Patriotic Party. Energetic, hardworking, intelligent, indefatigable national organizer today will be addressing us in the person of lawyer Henry Nanabuachi. But before he comes, let me take the opportunity to introduce to a few national officers here with us. We have our third vice national chairman here, Honorable Masaud Chairman Buga is here with us. We have a couple of constituency and regional officers here. I see the acting regional youth organizer for Greater Accra, my very good friend, Mandela. At this point, with your permission, I call on the hardworking national organizer to mount the podium. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my good friend, Probia. Ladies and gentlemen from our cherished media houses, good afternoon and welcome to the headquarters of the New Patriotic Party. We have called you here to address three critical issues. That is the shocking conduct of the special prosecutor, Mr. Kisi Ejabin, in declaring Ken Ofori, the former finance minister, as a fugitive and also a wanted person. And also we'll be addressing the unconstitutional revocation of appointment and recruitment. You recall that the Chief of Staff, through a directive to all state institutions, directing them to revoke all appointments made after December 7th, 2024. And again, the obnoxious nulli prosequi that freed individuals who have cases to answer in court and to the Ghanaian people. These are issues that should concern all Ghanaians, because if left, we need to address these issues in its proper perspective. They can collectively undermine the due process provisions of our laws and the human right of citizens. It can also unduly interfere in the work of the judiciary, and it will weaken our cherished democracy. Yesterday, Mr. Kisi Ejabin held a press conference and declared Ken Ofori, the former Minister of Finance, a fugitive from justice. It is baffling that a special prosecutor, a lawyer, and a law lecturer could make such basic mistake in labeling a person of interest who has not been charged and remains in contact through his lawyers as a wanted individual or a fugitive. Isn't that odd? A respected legal personality, a former director of the Ghana Law School, Mr. Ansan Asare, says that this act is not only barbaric, but uncouth, uncivilized, and unethical. Ladies and gentlemen, Ken Ofori is not evading accountability, as the OSP claimed. On January 2nd, 2025, he wrote a letter to the then Chief of Staff, Madame Frima Oseo Pare, that he was traveling to the United States for a follow-up medical visit. He included his current and reliable contact information at the end of the letter. On January 22nd, 2025, Mr. Ofori again wrote to the new Chief of Staff, Mr. Julius Debra, to inform him that he was overseas for a medical examination. He concluded his letter with the following: please do not hesitate to reach out if there is any information you will need in the interest of the state regarding the fact that I've been or I've held some formal positions in government. Mr. Ofori also provided reliable email addresses for any required communication. He also attached his letter to the former Chief of Staff for Mr. Debra's reference. 2 days after he wrote this letter to the Chief of Staff, the special prosecutor sent a letter, and this was January 24th, 2025, sent a letter to Mr. Ofori's residence regarding a directive to appear at the office of the special prosecutor on Monday, February 10th, 2025. That was the date for him to appear, to discuss suspected corruption and corruption-related offenses. The letter also enumerated 4 matters being investigated by the OSP. Then on January 31st, Mr. Ofori responded to the special prosecutor's letter through his lawyer, stating that our client notified the former Chief of Staff in earlier January and more recently informed the current Chief of Staff about his trip outside the country for medical reasons. Our client is currently undergoing medical observation and test, which will lead to a decision about his treatment. After that, he will have a clearer idea of when to proceed to Ghana. Therefore, we respectfully wish to inform you that we will notify you of his arrival to the country so that you can reschedule your invitation to him for purposes stated in the heading of your reference letter. Then on 5th February 2025, the special prosecutor responded to Mr. Ofori's lawyer, stating that the OSP declines your request to be away from the jurisdiction indefinitely on medical grounds based solely on your statement. You are required to indicate by the close of business on Monday, February 10, 2025, a reasonable date for your return to the jurisdiction and attendance to the OSP. If you fail to do so, the OSP will take all necessary legal steps to secure your return to the jurisdiction and your attendance to the OSP in our discretion. Let me make this reference quickly. You recall that there was also another matter the OSP was investigating, the famous Airbus, the intermediary 1, intermediary 2 to 5 issue. Mr. Kisieja Jabin told us in August last year that he traveled all the way to UK to interview Sam Mahama, John Maham's brother, intermediary 5. So what stopped him from doing same to the former minister? This is somebody who is saying that I'm seeking medical attention. The health facility wrote a letter to the OSP. It was signed, dated, and it was an authentic letter. So if you think that you need a person badly for your investigation, just as you travel to UK to interview Sam Mahama, what then stop you from doing same to former finance minister? What is so urgent that you cannot wait? What is so urgent that if he could have waited 2 years before he interviewed Sam Mahama in the famous Airbus issue, then why this haste? And even if you do the calculations, we are talking about just within a space of 2 weeks. So you request the presence of somebody. The person say that I'm out of the jurisdiction for medical attention. You have received letters from his lawyers. You have received letters from the hospital signed by a medical doctor. And all of these correspondence is just within 2 weeks. Then quickly you label the person as a fugitive. Very, very bizarre situation. On February 7, 2025, in a reply to the special prosecutor's letter of February 5th, Mr. Oforiatta's lawyer stated, "Please find the attached document indicating that our client is receiving attention at the Mayo Clinic in the US. It outlines his appointment and suggests a date after March when our client may be able to return to Ghana." A date after March. March is just next month. The letter from Mayo Hospital stated that Mr. Oforiatta was undergoing further testing and management, including possible surgical intervention in March 2025. The hospital's letter provided reliable contact, a doctor's name, the department name, a phone number, a reliable email address. It was also stamped Mayo Clinic authentic document with a signature and a date. Nonetheless, the correspondence between the OSP and the lawyers on February 11, 2025, 12 men, including 1 police officer, 4 military personnel, and 7 unidentified individuals in plain clothes raided Mr. Ken Oforiatta's home. Video footage of the raid reveals that one Richard Papa, a third accused in the famous ambulance trial case, accompanied the men into the residence of Mr. Oforiatta, all armed to the teeth. Ladies and gentlemen, the OSP is being unreasonable considering the ongoing communication between Ken Oforiatta and the OSP office concerning his health. Additionally, the treatment letter from the Mayo Clinic should demonstrate that he is indeed receiving care. My little knowledge in law reveals that if somebody is declared a fugitive, it means that person cannot be reached, cannot be traced. You don't even know where the person is. And at least you give yourself a reasonable time after a search. In any case, the OSP lacked that power to declare anybody wanted. It is only the court that can do so. If the special prosecutor's letter from January 24th had prompted Mr. Oforiatta to leave Ghana, the OSP might be justified in harboring suspicion. However, Mr. Oforiatta was already out of the country well before OSPs contacted him. He traveled on the 2nd of January, and your letter to him came in on the 24th of January. So how could the man be labeled as a fugitive when he was already in the country? Indeed, He was not even the finance minister about 8 months before the elections. And you, Mr. Kise Jabe, you were the special prosecutor. And he was in the country throughout. For 8 months of the election, you could not invite the person. The person steps out of the country for medical attention. And it is not as if you wrote to the person before he traveled. Your letter came 2 weeks after he had traveled. And yet, you unreasonably label this person as a fugitive. Very, very, very unreasonable. To avoid any misunderstanding, since he was appointed Minister of Finance in 2017, Mr. Ofori has consistently demonstrated unwavering transparency and respect in response to all legal inquiries and state investigation involving him. The Euro-born conflict of interest probe by Sraj, the vote of censure by Parliament readily comes to mind. Mr. Ofori has remained present, fully engaged, and open with the relevant authorities throughout these proceedings. His long history of openness and cooperation reinforces a commitment to upholding the highest standards of integrity. Mr. Ofori can never be a fugitive. He is not a fugitive, and he will never be a fugitive. The OSP got it wrong. He got it wrong. Once Mr. Ofori's doctors declare him fit and healthy, he will return to the country. Until then, the special prosecutor should avoid making sensational statements, provoking public emotions, and creating drama over the matter that could have been adequately resolved through correspondence. If you label your former finance minister as a fugitive, which indeed is not so, what you are doing is that it's a national embarrassment. It amounts to national embarrassment. When indeed, the length of your correspondence is just 2 weeks, and you can't wait. It's not as if the person is lost. The person cannot be traced. Again, the special prosecutor also mentioned in his press statement yesterday that the former National Petroleum Authority boss, Honorable Dr. Sheikh Mustafa Abdul Hamid, is a subject matter of investigation. Again, in a very bizarre situation, you put together a press conference, you state that Dr. Mustafa Hamid is a subject matter for some investigations, that is corruption-related offenses. Yet, at the time you were making such a statement, Dr. Mustafa had not even received even a text message, even a letter, even a phone call, nothing, no correspondence that you need him for investigation. Is this fair? Is that how you do your work? It is interesting to note that Honorable Mustafa has not received any invitation from the special prosecutor or any state investigative body, nor has he been under any investigation for any said alleged crime. Let me state that the NPP, we are going to cooperate with any state investigative body. We are. The NPP, our members, past CEOs, past officials, anybody, we are going to fully cooperate. Let it be known that the New Patriotic Party and our members are law-abiding and will cooperate fully with any state institution. But however, we will reject any form of political harassment. Any form of political harassment. What happened in Mr. Ofori's house is very unfortunate. We are not in a jungle. What happened there? And for the special prosecutor to even say